All right, family. We live once again with the general. We got some fire commentary going down today. We're gonna be talking about how the United States is automatically drafting you. If you're of a certain age, you will automatically be registered in the draft automatically. You see, into the draft, and so the day is up. The day is up, man. When they gonna make you going, and when they get ready to go to war, you going to war. You going to war. I know you're gonna duck, and they're gonna if they catch you, they're gonna give you 10 years. If they catch you, you're gonna do 10 years. Okay, so that's what they got planned. And you used to the selective service, they used to just send it to your house. They used to send it to your house and you had to fill it out and send it back. And but that day is up. I think they're gonna automatically, if you of a certain age, they and they just show you they're getting ready to go to war. Ain't nobody gonna be ducking and dodging. You go in, your ass is getting ready to go to China. You're gonna be over there in the South Pacific. You might be over there dealing with Kim Jong Un. Kim Jong Un. You're gonna have to deal with what's his name? Xi Jinping. You're gonna Vladimir. Whoever you got to do it deal with the Ayatollah over there, supreme leader. They're getting the numbers up. They're getting the numbers up. They're trying to make sure that the United States Army stay clearly over 1 million soldiers, probably more than 1 million. They gonna want to have access to at least probably 1.3 million, 1.5 million soldiers. Yeah, they trying to get it up because they intend, that they might have to go to war, and they're gonna need them ground troops, to fight a China, to fight a India, to fight anybody. They're gonna need over 1 million soldiers, to go anywhere. And with the now, I will say, if they got a million, and they're gonna need more than 1 million, but if they got about 1.5 million, it's gonna be damn near it's not gonna be realistic, you know what I'm saying, to beat the United States with that type of technology and that number of military. It just ain't gonna be feasible for me to believe, even with China, even with India having extremely large numbers of people, because they don't have the transport to move them large numbers of soldiers. So they technically landlocked right there in India. They might be able to go next door to their neighbor, jump on Pakistan, or the China, the Chinese may be able to jump on the Indian, or whoever they choose to, but they literally gonna be landlocked, because whatever little ships they got, they'll do India, and believe it or not, a lot of them ships China got gonna get sunk. They're gonna sink them. You know what I'm saying? They're going to the bottom of the ocean. And so a lot of the military that they didn't seen over there, that Iran got some of that military. They got some of them what they call them systems, them military systems that China had put over there, the defense missile defense system. That shit ain't working, man. It ain't working. They done knocked it out of there. It's already gone. That's why they ain't got no defense. And so yes, indeed, they intending on having over 1 million soldiers, to be able to operate the way that they need to operate. Yeah, they're gonna need over because look how many they got. They spread out all over the damn place. You probably got about 65,000 in South Korea. You got about 40,000 in Japan. And I know them is you got about 40,000 in Germany. Over there. And through various NATO nations, you got soldiers over there. So they're gonna want about a mil. You might as well say 1.5. You might as well say 1.5. That's going, if you got about 1.5 million soldiers, that's going to literally deter anybody from wanting to have a goddamn war with you. You know what I'm saying? Well trained soldiers, along with the technology, along with the Navy, nobody is going to want to wage war with the United States. That's not, in no way support. It's just being real. It's just being real. And you's a foolish person to believe any otherwise. You be foolish to believe any otherwise. So all the young soldiers out there, they already got you. And they're gonna send the trucks down there when it's time to come get you. You're gonna be fleeing, and what they're gonna do, they already got the plan. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna come get you. They're gonna come get you, but the majority, they're gonna have enough to get their numbers up. They're gonna have enough to get their numbers up, even with the people that's fleeing, because any war, they're gonna flee. They're not gonna wanna, a lot of people ain't gonna want to go to war. So you're gonna have a lot of draft dodgers out there. You're gonna have a lot of draft dodgers out there, so you can know that. But they're gonna come looking for you. They're gonna come looking for you. So just beware. You got to have somewhere you're gonna run. Most of you're gonna run right to your mama basement. You're gonna run right to your cousin basement, auntie and uncle basement. And that's exactly where they're gonna go. They're gonna smoke you out of there. So you're gonna have to have a better place to hide than that. But from my understanding, they're gonna automatically, based on your age, they got your number. They got your number now. If you didn't been down to the hospital, you didn't been to the you getting medical, you getting help from the state, you didn't voted, you got a state ID. You got a driver's license, you got a passport. They running all of that. They running all of that in that age bracket that they saying, I know it's from 18, and I heard they didn't push I don't know what the draft age is. I heard they didn't push the age of being able to go into the army up into 40 now. I believe it's up into 40. Where 40, I believe, I don't know what, I heard it was like 40, 46 that you could join the military up until like in your 40s now. So they didn't push it up, and so I don't know if that's the draft, since they pushed the number up to where you could join the military into the 40s. I don't know if they drafted up into the 40s. That's gonna be crazy. Yeah, that's go. What you say it is? 42? Okay, 42. Yeah. And they probably will, I don't know. They don't want to deal with that. Yeah. I thought it was 46. Somebody put in there 42. So even then, just imagine being, he say FBA gonna run to Africa now. No, it's time to be, it's time to be FBA. Yeah, it's time to be FBA. Yeah, your foundational Black American, your ass gonna be over there in the South Pacific. You talking that shit. If you a founder, you got and you Constitution and you red, white, and blue, you gonna get your ass over there in the South Pacific and you gonna fight for your country. That's what you gonna do, nigga. And they might not even bring you back to the United States. They'll drop your ass off in the South Pacific Sea or bury your ass over there, and that be fucked up because a lot of soldiers that die overseas, they bury them overseas. They got cemeteries overseas. Your ass would be talking about FBA, and your ass would be over there buried in goddamn Taiwan some damn way. You know what I'm saying? Your ass would be over in Guam, rolling over in your grave talking about you FBA, and your ass would be goddamn buried in goddamn South Korea some damn way. But you say you could be 17. Yeah, but you with you what I think it's 18 though. I think it's 18. I think it's 18. You could be 17, but that's a stipulation. But I think it's 18. You know what I'm saying? 17, you ROTC or some shit like that. I don't think I don't think they letting you in there, to die at no damn I don't think you could go to the battlefield at no 17. You see, yeah. Yeah, I don't think no damn I don't think, if that's crazy because they really in desperation to have to take 17-year-olds, that's real crazy. But just know that it's on the way, and probably a whole lot of other things that's on the way. And so all these videos that been forewarning you where where this was going, he said FBA MIA. No, they got their ass. Yeah, they didn't already register. They didn't win and register already. Them good Negroes. They didn't filled out all their paperwork. You know what I'm saying? They didn't filled out they didn't voted. All them Negroes didn't voted, so they know exactly where they ass at. They're gonna come right on down there and pull up in with the paddy wagons and roll their ass on out of there, right on down there to boot camp. You understand what I'm saying? They're gonna run their ass through boot camp and get their ass out there as soon as possible. It's that day and age. They are preparing for war. Now, I've heard that Donald Trump, I thought he was asking for, and I believe he is asking for $1.5 trillion. Hold on. They saying he's asking for $1.5 trillion for next year's budget, military budget. 1.5 trillion, but now I'm hearing it's even more than that. I'm hearing it's even more than that. Hold on. Yeah, I heard it's even more than that. Hold on, fam. Yeah, no, I heard it then went up to 2.2 million, 2.2 trillion dollars. Yeah, they asked him for $2.2 trillion. That's a war budget. That means that Donald Trump intend on and I know they that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, y'all. So that's a war budget for real. You say 250K? What you talking about for going to the you talking about for going to the military? I don't know how much they giving people. Say 25th Amendment, nah, shit, it's too late for that. They done voted his ass in there. They done voted his ass in there. You knew, they knew when damn Donald Trump was getting in there. Everything that he did not achieve in his first year, he going ham. First year, second, he gonna get he gonna try to do all that he could do. And man, them 4 years, man, shit. He had a vengeance. He was vindictive. You didn't put a vindictive president in there. talking about they stole the presidency from him and all of that. So he was vindictive. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to send ICE down. I mean, the military into the police, to the cities, and things of that nature. And so, and people, because crime ridden cities, they gonna invite him in. They're gonna invite him in, but see, once they get in, they ain't coming out. All these cities that got the National Guard. Have you ever heard when they gonna take them out of there? You ain't heard. They ain't gonna leave out. It's gonna become the norm. You gonna always see them, and then they're gonna bring more in, and you know what I'm saying. They're gonna build up the bases, and they're gonna build that up too, because it ain't just for what's over there. It's gonna be for what's inside the United States too. They ain't just thinking about what's over there. They thinking about what's inside the United States, because the United States ain't unified as far as the political parties and things of that nature. So he gonna want to contain their ass. Man, y'all gonna see a lot of shit that y'all didn't think y'all would see. It's gonna blow your mind. Yeah, yeah, yeah. How the fuck this economy can give you 2 trillion? 2.2 trillion. You see, 2.2 trillion. You see, and that's crazy. 2.2 trillion. The point two is billions. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like you saying when you say 2.2 trillion, you got and the point two is billions. So yeah, that's a lot of money, family. So that lets you know they intend with that type of budget and them talking about they gonna institute the draft like that. They are anticipating a war with China, with Russia. You see, so just know that, family. I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, the like button. I want you to share this with your family and friends. Make sure that you comment. Make reparations. Shit, man, please. I don't know. I don't know about the rest. We want our paper. You understand what I'm saying? But what they trying to pull off right now, you have to take that into consideration as to whether you gonna get it, family. You see, you got to think hard about that. But anyway, hit that subscribe button, like button, make sure you comment too, family. Make sure y'all comment. I want to know how you feel. Engage with the family. This is a very serious topic. I'll see y'all in a minute. Boom, Black Power.